Raleigh is one of the fastest growing cities in the nation with over 1,000 new residents moving here every single month. Stay tuned to find out why.
All right, so Cindy just threw out a pretty big number that she got from WRAL, which is a local news source, as far as 1,000 people a month moving to our area. So in general, this area since 2020 has grown roughly 5.5%. When I talk about the area, I'm talking about the Raleigh, Cary Metro, Durham, Chapel Hill Metro combined. And
right.
So it's what, the 10th fastest growing
in the country,
in the
yeah.
area.
And the national average of growth is about 1%. So we're definitely well above that, 5.5.
And so that begs the question, why are people moving to our area? And that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to break it down into a couple sections. We're going to talk about the economy. We're going to talk about life here as far as like outdoor life, family life, and we're going to talk about housing.
Yep. So, of course, when you're moving somewhere new, you kind of need to have a job, right? So some people that are moving here,
unless
especially unless you're retired, especially during the pandemic, might be working from home and they don't have that issue, but a lot of people relocating here are relocating for work. And the Wall Street Journal named Raleigh one of the top 3 hottest job markets in the country, and there's a lot going on here. A lot of these are very high-paying tech jobs. There's a big tech scene here in Raleigh. You have companies like Apple, Google, Toyota, all moving into the area. On the neighboring side, so you had the Research Triangle Park, part of that's on the Wake County, Raleigh side, part of it is on the Durham County side, and you've got tons of huge software companies, tech companies, biomedical companies, all within that region that are bringing in a lot of jobs. You might be thinking, I'm not a tech person, Raleigh's not going to have anything for me, but there is so much else. You know, you've got a huge medical scene with Duke University, Wake Med, UNC. Exactly. So if you're nurses, doctors, and just admin staff, if you're not actually medically trained, there's a lot of job positions in those areas that bring a lot of people here and pay really well. Exactly.
And basically, and kind of to sum up, that the economy here, I think, is really diverse. Like, we do have a good sized tech scene, but we're not dominated by tech. We're not dominated by, at least what I define as tech in my mind, of like the Apples and the Googles and some of these like Silicon Valley type companies. We're not dominated by finance or these others, which I think in general makes you a more resilient area as well, which is really good. But kind of digging even further into the job side of the Raleigh-Durham area. So North Carolina was named by CNBC, I think for the 2nd year in a row, the #1 place for businesses. So that's obviously statewide. Wallet Hub just came out with a report this week, I think, actually naming Durham the 9th best place in the country to start a business and Raleigh the 11th best place to start a country, which is really cool.
To start a country?
Or sorry, to start a business.
World domination!
to start a business. But all that to say, not only is the state very business friendly, but the areas, these cities we're talking about today, Raleigh and Durham, are also very business friendly, and just the job side of it is really good here.
Yeah, for sure. So work is obviously going to be a big push for people moving to the area, but that's not it.
Exactly.
So whatever stage of life you might be in, whether you are single, married, have young kids, your kids are growing up and moving out and you're looking to maybe settle down and retire somewhere else, or even if you're like just going to grad school or doing a residency or something like that, there is space for you here in Raleigh, and it's really a great place for all stages of life, which is really cool. I think something that really draws people to the area is how great it is for families.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Raleigh ranks in the top areas for families to live. It ranks in the top areas for folks to retire in, and it ranks in the top, what was it? There was a recent study that came out for Gen Z graduating college and moving to cities. Yep. Raleigh was in the top for that. So I mean,
Durham too.
Yeah. And so this area in general, there is a lot to do for folks at a wide range of spectrums as far as like what stage your life is in.
Right.
And it's really due to places like this where you can walk on a trail. There's a playground over there. There's just a lot to do here when it comes to like outdoor activities.
For sure. And then, I feel like it's just a good place to have good work-life balance in your life. It's not all just like tech hub stuff like Zach mentioned, and there's just a good combination of things.
When you were putting together this video, was it US News had this top 5 happiest
cities?
It's really interesting.
So, pretty cool. Come here and be happier.
Yeah.
If you have not subscribed to our channel, we would love to have you do that. Be sure to hit the bell down there to be notified and subscribe to the channel. We put out videos like this every single week. And if you are looking to buy or sell in the area, we would love to be your resource of choice, and our number is below.
All right, next up on the list is outdoor activities. I got a little ahead of myself when I brought it up just a second ago, but that is a big driver for folks moving here. We have over, 10,000 acres of green space in Raleigh, 180 miles of trails in Raleigh, and that's just Raleigh. So that's not pulling in Wake Forest or Cary or Apex or Durham or Chapel Hill. That's just one of, and I mean, obviously the largest city in the area, but it's just one part of this greater region. That kind of activity, it's attractive to folks. And then you have places like this where you just have huge trees. And I mean, if you're coming from a place like California or like somewhere out west or to the southwest, I've been to Texas a couple of times, and their trees are like the size of bushes, and so and so like you come out here and you see these like towering trees in the shade when it's hot outside, or like even from a place like Florida where you have like the palm trees, but you don't have a lot of shade. Like it's just it's beautiful here with the greenery. It's really special. Yeah,
for sure. And a lot of people, you forget it when you live in it and you've grown up in it your whole life. You don't realize it until you travel somewhere else, and you're like, I can see so far, and then it hits you. I can see far because there's no trees here. So it's definitely, I feel like, just a green haven, especially in the summertime, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, but it is really interesting though, because we have folks who will move here from some of those other areas where you can see a lot further, and sometimes they really struggle with how tight this area feels because of the trees. I was driving down Interstate 40 today, which cuts like right through Raleigh, and like I'm in the middle of Raleigh, but all you see on the sides of the interstate are towering trees. So it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere, but you're not. And so that is something that folks sometimes do struggle with. But if you're looking for a green area with a really good number of outdoor activities and proximity to more outdoor activities, whether it's the beach or the mountains. And you even have in this area, you do have water access mainly on the lake side. So you got places like Falls Lake and Jordan Lake. I would say Jordan Lake's a little more heavy on like the activity side than Falls Lake is. Falls Lake, I tend to just see folks fishing out there, but they do have, different beaches and stuff set up where you can go swimming in the summer. And so, just that kind of like park access is really, really, really cool. And that's something unique. It's not unique to North Carolina, but it's something this area has. Yeah,
which is definitely nice. If you, especially in the summertime, if you want to go and enjoy those beaches and things without having to drive to the beach. We also have really easy access to drive to the actual beach as well, or the mountain. So it's nice because we're centrally located in the state, and so you have just a lot of other places you can easily travel to, and then just being on the kind of centrally located on the East Coast too, it's easy to get to other big cities, DC, Atlanta. You could easily drive up to New York if you wanted to. I wouldn't, but you can. So it's kind of nice to just have that easy access to other spots.
You won't even you don't drive in. You don't want to drive anywhere.
I don't want to road trip
Cindy
anywhere.
would take a plane to Charlotte. If I let her, which is ridiculous because it would be a waste of money.
As far as growth and housing in the area, some of the most growing areas are actually not in Raleigh itself, but in the outer lying counties and suburbs of Raleigh, and places that used to be small towns that no one heard of, like Apex, Holly Springs, Fuquay-Varina, are now some of the fastest growing areas in the state, and they have so much new construction. It's wild to see the changes.
Yeah, and as far as average home prices go, just in Raleigh, the median home price in Raleigh over the last year was $500,000. The average was $650,000, so there's obviously a big discrepancy between the average and the median, and that's because of some of the luxury builds that come in, pull the average up a little more. But in general, like when you look at what you can find in some of the larger metros in the country compared to Raleigh, Raleigh is still one of the more affordable options, which is why there is more of a migration here from some of those more expensive areas to the more affordable areas. If you're local, then you don't necessarily feel that affordability because you know what it used to be, and now it's at a certain price point. But for those who are moving to the area, there is an affordability factor to housing that they may not experience where they're coming from.
For sure.
But we are Zach and Cindy Honeycutt, a couple of real estate agents in the area. If you are looking to buy or sell, we'd love to be a real estate resource of choice for you. So feel free to reach out to us at the contact info below. And you can also find us on Instagram.
Yeah, we'd love to have you follow along on Instagram. You can find us at the Honeycutt Realtors, or you can find our other page on Instagram, the RDU Buzz, for more news and developments around the area. So we'd love to have you follow on with both.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see y'all next time.